All right, here we are, back at the Gemini 1 G12 from 1965. This is a public service announcement for anyone who's going to be working on this kind of amp to make sure you understand the grounding structure. I've seen some people get into trouble with these and end up pulling their hair out trying to figure out why they're getting noise and all that kind of thing, and grounding jacks and doing crazy things. What you got to understand about these amps is that they are set up in what effectively is a bus structure, single point tied to the chassis ground structure. What? All right. In this amp, every single component that needs to be grounded, or I should say not grounded, is to the 0 voltage reference point. In this case, it is the chassis. All of those are tied into basically a line of connected wires that are tied into ground only at one point on the chassis. Let me say that again. It's tied only one point in the chassis. And in this particular case, it's at this jack. Why is that important? Well, when you're working on these amps, you're probably going to be changing the filter caps. That's that cap can. This is the back side of it. This is plugged into the back of the amp. Here's another, actually it's a dual, it's a pair of filter capacitors. You're probably going to be changing those. Those are all tied to ground. And particularly if you don't want to, actually you can in these amps, they're readily available. For this particular amp, the 70-40-40 cap can at 450 volts is readily available by CE distribution. And even dual, this is a dual 20. I'm going to replace it with a dual 33 in F&T, but anyway, you may not be replacing those. You may be putting discrete components. You may be putting, like somewhere around here, trying to fit them in, maybe make room on the board, that kind of thing. It's cheaper to do it that way, and I understand. But if you end up just haphazardly grounding, or using what you would think is normal good grounding techniques to a point away from the preamp tubes or away from the output transformer line, you're thinking you're doing the right thing, you're going to create a ground loop. And you're going to create hum in the amp. Or you would inadvertently create that. You can do it with discrete parts, but you've got to make sure that you follow this single point bus. Now, let's see if I can show you a little better. Let's zoom in. So, all right, yeah. I'm hoping you can make it out. So, here's your capacitor can. It's the back side of that. These tabs on the outside are actually the grounds to the entire structure of the can. The can they're grounded inside here. Those tabs, that's usually your grounding point. And you look at this and you say, okay, you open this up for a second. Say, okay, cool, yeah, all right, yeah, there's a cap can, it's plugged in there. Wait a minute, where's it grounded? Oh, okay, there's a ground. It's grounded to one of these things. And then it's supposed to go to, isn't it supposed to go to chassis? It's not going to the chassis, oh my God, where is it? And you look, and you see a line going, what the hell is this? It's going to the board. All right, well, maybe it's grounded underneath or something. And then you follow that line, and you're like, wait a minute, hold on, there's this other cap can ground is there. Wait, the ground goes to this other line. Wait, I don't see anything to the chassis yet, the 0 voltage reference point. Oh my God, what's going on? There's another line that goes over here. Wait, all right, here's the shared cathode resistor. That's supposed to be grounded. It's going to that line too. Hold on, wait, then it goes further. You go up the line, you look at all these points. And you see, this is essentially a bus line. I may be out of the frame now. There's a bus line of ground that at no point is touching the chassis until right here where it gets to this jack. If you go ahead and put discrete parts, or even if you replace this cap can, and a giveaway that you've got to realize is why you would say to yourself, is this cap can mounted to an insulator? Let's see, I have it behind here. This is an actual insulator type of plastic board. It's probably phenolic of some sort, could be a fiber board. That the cap can is actually not touching the chassis anywhere. It's protected by that insulator. You got to say to yourself, wait, why would someone do that? There's got to be a purpose behind it, and that is so that it is not. Because what would happen is if you then, as often these are, if you take that out and replace it with a non-insulating or conducting mount, and it's to the chassis, you're going to create a ground loop from the point at which this is tied into the bus to the chassis and back to here. And you're going to create eddy currents. It's going to be very noisy. There's a great video by someone out there that shows someone that had done that, and they tied it also not only to the bus but to a ground point right next to the can, which is a common place. And the ground loop hum was pretty awful, and as soon as that was lifted, it was gone. So look out for that. This is what you've got to do. I am, just to go through what I'm going to do with this amp, I'm going to replace this cap can. I'm going to replace it with a cap can. It is more expensive, but I think it functions better. I hate having to find places to mount. There may be good places, easy places to mount things. In some amps, I don't find that the case. There are replacements, direct replacements that work for these. The other thing I'm going to do for the amp is there's some other electrolytics. This is the power amplifier bypass cap over here. There's a couple in the preamp, one part of the tremolo oscillator. I'm going to replace those. Replace this 2 watt. That's an old 2 watt 470 ohm resistor. That's part of the power filter. At 10K and 10K, this is 2 watt, and that's a 1 watt. They look pretty good. I'm going to test them. Once I take this cap can and I can test these a little better, because in circuit it's tough to get a reading at these points. Some of the points you can. Obviously I'm going to take out the death cap right there. Everything that I've tested so far, including the transformer, the secondary sides, will pan out. So just to recap, special and very good, by the way, functions very well. Grounding structure through Ampegs needs to be adhered to. If you deviate from how they have it set up, you're gonna get some problems. You're gonna go, oh my God, what's wrong with this amp? And if you didn't realize it in the first place, you will pull out whatever hair is left in your head. I mean, maybe you have hair. I don't have hair. You know what I mean? So there you go. Oh yeah, I'm gonna replace the cord, some knobs maybe. This is going to be easy, by the way. So a few caps, a couple resistors, direct replacements effectively for filter caps. Now, who knows what's going to happen when I get down to that tremolo? That may give me the funky cold Medina. I don't know. We'll see. There you go. Have a nice day.